Hello and welcome to Fanish Feminists. I'm Allie.
And I'm Michelle.
And today we're going to talk about Fate of the Furious. So, Michelle, what did you think?
I thought it was an interesting take. If this is in fact the last movie of the series, I kind of like how they ended it.
And I'm not sure, but I thought I read that if this one does well, there might be more. I was impressed with all the women in it, but I could totally see where this is a wrap up for the series. It would be an interesting wrap up for the series. So, let's talk about the franchise. This franchise has quite a bit of complaints about it. Everything from it being shallow to it being misogynistic. Some of it is fair, some of the entries have been, well, fairly fluffy in terms of story. Now, I will be the first to point out that some of the accusations overlook the virtues of the franchise, which is that it has been pretty diverse from the beginning. Even though Dom and his sister Mia have a seemingly Italian last name, both are played by people of color. Vin Diesel has described himself as a person of color, and Jordana Brewster is half Brazilian. Not to mention, Michelle Rodriguez plays Vin Diesel's love interest, Letty, in the first and other films. The series isn't without its faults, though. One of the legitimate concerns is how it treats the women. Letty was actually killed off in the fourth movie, and when she's revealed to still be alive in the sixth movie, she's missing her memories. And she really isn't given much time to recover her memories before she joins Dom's side again. Also, in the sixth movie, Giselle dies for Han, and then Han's death in the third movie is shown again. This time with the information that it was Deckard Shaw that killed him. So for those at home counting, that's 2 women dying, only one gets to come back, and 1 man of color dying. Another issue with the movie is that Elena, first introduced in the Fast Five, played by Elsa Pataki, is portraying a Brazilian woman when she's not Brazilian or even Latina. Elsa is Spanish, as in from Spain. So those are the main issues leveled against the franchise. And we've got good news and bad news, but spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched it yet, you've been warned. The good news is that Fate of the Furious has the most women of any of the previous entries in the franchise. The bad news is that one of them dies. This movie is filled with women. There's a lady villain, Cypher, played by Charlize Theron, who has gross, appropriative dreads, and there's an older woman played by Helen Mirren, who turns out to be Deckard Shaw's mom. Not to mention Ramsey, played by Natalie Emmanuel, Elena, played by Elsa Pataki, and last but not least, Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez. By the way, that brings me to another point. Deckard Shaw joins the team in a wildly unpredictable turn of events. This is the guy that killed Han in Fast and Furious 6. Sure, at the beginning there's a fight with Hobbs, and then they reluctantly decide to work together because of reasons, but then later on in the movie we'll learn that Dom reached out to Deckard's mom. Dom convinces Deckard's mom to help him get Deckard's help. And we learn all this in a flashback, and suddenly Deckard Shaw is on Cypher's plane and fighting it out with Cypher's minions and rescuing Dom's baby. Moving on. Did they have to kill Elena? No, they did not.
I know. And that kind of for that one, I felt like it was too easy of a scapegoat. Now he doesn't have to explain the situation to Letty because it's where's the baby mama? She's dead. And so now she has no choice but to accept this kid in her life.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems very storybook ending.
Yeah.
Not true to, the grittiness of the Fast and the Furious franchise. And that kind of pissed me off a little bit too. Because I'm oh, now she's dead. Now he doesn't have to explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Explain his actions. Even if, he thought that Letty was dead. And so, he did the deed with someone else. Which is okay, But still, it's I
think they should have dragged it out for a movie or so. He's trying to be a dad and he's trying to be
a good husband.
But I feel like they're
to do 2 different women,
or maybe not a good, but a good baby daddy and then a good husband to Letty, and that would have been interesting. But They
Would
don't.
that take away from the franchise? I don't know.
I think the thing is that they're trying to wrap up the franchise, and they made it too perfect.
Right? But they're on like a freaking rooftop having a barbecue.
Like, first of all, where do you find a rooftop in New York? Like, you have to own a penthouse, don't you?
Right? Why are they in New York? I thought that they lived somewhere else. Weren't they in Cuba at the beginning? Oh, they were on their
Honeymoon.
honeymoon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but why weren't they in L.A.
Right?
Like, yeah.
This whole franchise has deviated from the original idea.
Which was L.A., people.
LA, but
California.
yeah. And not only just LA.
Just like California.
No, like, really? Are law enforcement really looking towards street racers for assistance? You know, is the government, are our hands in the lives of the Vin Diesels of the world? Like, I just want to know.
Going back to Elena. It's clear that Elena's death falls into the trope of women and refrigerators. Her whole death is to punish Dom, when really it's clear that, like Michelle said, they just wanted her out of the way. This movie didn't have to kill Elena. She spent the entire movie being dangled in front of Dom as an incentive along with her baby boy. This is the third woman they kill off, and unlike Letty, I doubt they'll bring back Elena. Letty's role was very much of a wife settling in and maybe getting ready to have kids. In the beginning, she brings it up to Dom as foreshadowing that there's already a kid on the horizon. Later, she's the only one to believe that Dom can come back from the betrayal. She's bringing new levels of meaning to the ride or die chick she's always been. Ramsey's part as a resident hacker is great. It subverts the stereotypical guy as a hacker because she's a black woman and also she's got two love interests who fight over her, which I'm not too happy about, but it's nice to see a black woman on the big screen that's so sought after. Also, a little more about Charlize Theron's Cypher. It's refreshing to see a woman be a villain in a big franchise like this, but honestly, I feel like we didn't need to see another white person in culturally appropriative dreads. The simple answer is that black people still get penalized both at work and in school for dreads, so why do white people get to just take that from them? By the way, there's an article in the description for more on dreads that says, for more on the dreads on Cypher, that says it all more eloquently than I could. So that's it for us on Spanish Feminists about Fate of the Furious. I'd say watch it if you're invested in the genre and you want to see a lady villain, but skip it if you don't want to see another woman die for man pain. So, Michelle, what would you give Fate of the Furious out of 5 stars?
I think I would give it 3 out of 5 stars simply because it just seems so outlandish, especially from where the series started to where it is now. And then the thing that kills me the most is instead of dealing with the whole issue of him having a baby with someone else, you know, and having to confront Michelle Rodriguez's character about having a side piece when he thought she was dead, they totally kill off Elsa's character.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from with that. Yeah. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, only because, like I said, I'm really glad that they had a lady villain and an older woman and Helen Mirren. And I mean, like, they're showing a lot of different women. They had a black woman, they had a Latina, and it's like, I'm really excited that we had a film. It is outlandish, but I feel like this is the one franchise where you can get all these different type of women, and it's not just a chick flick. You know, it's a genre film, it's an action film, but you still get all these different women, and you don't have really men complaining like you do for Wonder Woman. All these men are complaining, oh, it's a chick flick. But it's, you know, it's a superhero movie, but Fate of the Furious is doing something interesting in the genre. So I think that's the only reason I gave it 3.5 stars. Thanks for joining us. That's going to be it for us today. We've been Fanish Feminists, and goodbye, Michelle. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And please remember, if you liked this podcast, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.